My name is Russell and you're watching The Bible Man. If you're new to this channel, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on all notifications for any future updates here on my channel. And if you feel like supporting me in any way, shape, or form, you're welcome to go ahead and do so. Link is in the description box below. There you can support me on Patreon. So the title of this video is called 3 Signs God is Revealing Your Boaz to you. Now, before anything, all credits to this video does go to AGW. He's a Christian YouTuber. I'm just borrowing some of his research to do this video. If you see me looking down on this video, bear in mind I'm reading from his website, so no harm, no foul. A man could be your Boaz if he is treating you better than what you deserve. The book of Ruth is an amazing story in the Old Testament that's I highly encourage you to read on your own. Ultimately, it's a book that points to us the faithfulness of God, but the Lord teaches us a lesson through Ruth, the story of marrying Boaz. And through this relationship between Boaz and Ruth, there are many incredible relationship practices that can greatly benefit anyone who desires to have a godly marriage one day. I've already read the book of Ruth. It's an amazing book. I think it's a great book to read if you're trying to get married. That, along with 1 Corinthians and Song of Solomon. These are great books to study if you are trying to get married in the future, and I highly encourage you to read these books if you're looking for a godly man, or if you're a man looking for a godly woman. But since I'm specifically talking to women in this video, is about that. Forgive me, I have a messed up throat today. In the book of Ruth, chapter 1, we learned that Naomi and her husband went out and went to the land of Moab. Then one of their sons married Ruth, but then all the males in Naomi's family died, meaning Ruth's husband died, to give context. One night, one thing leads to another, and eventually Naomi and Ruth returns to Bethlehem in need of help. Boaz quickly intervenes on Ruth's behalf and shows her incredible kindness by letting her work in the fields, protecting her, and providing her food that she needs. Ruth is then overwhelmed by his generosity, and let's pick up the story in Ruth 2, chapter 10, Let's pick up the story in Ruth chapter 2, verses 10 through 13. It states, "Then she fell on her face, bowing to the ground, and said to him, 'Why have I found favor in your eyes, that you should take notice of me, since I am a foreigner?' But Boaz answered to her, 'All that you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband had been fully told to me, and how you left your father and mother and your native land and came to a people that you did not know before. The Lord repay you for what you have done, and a full reward be given to you by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge.' Then she said, 'I have found favor in your eyes, my Lord, for you have comforted me and spoken to me kindly to your servant, though I am not one of your servants.'" Here Boaz shows that he is actually a highly viewed. Here Boaz shows that he actually has a higher view of her than she has of herself. I'm going to repeat that. Here, Boaz shows that he actually has a higher view of her than she has of herself. In fact, if you go back to the text, Boaz answers her, "All that you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband have been fully told to me." Boaz is stating things that Ruth wouldn't even recognize herself, because Boaz has a higher view of her. Because that's the type of person Boaz is. A guy who sees the person's potential. A guy who sees the person's abilities. The guy who sees the person's personality, kindness, love, and generosity. And sees the Spirit of God in that person. That's the type of guy that Boaz was. And these are qualities I think every woman should have an open mind about. Is he pursuing you? Does he have a high view of me? Does he care about me? And these are questions we should think about. Likewise, when God brings the right man into your life, he will value you for who God may have. Likewise, when God brings the right man into your life, he will value you for who God has made you to be. He will treat you with respect. He will even treat you better than what you deserve. Because we all have real flaws and sins in our lives. Just like Ruth had many stripes against her. But Boaz saw her differently. And when God brings your Boaz into your life, this man will see you differently too. I'm going to put a pause right there. And I'm going to state something. A little confession. From April all the way until August, my Ruth, what I thought was my Ruth, somebody I really love and still care about, these are things I tried to work on. These are things I saw in this person. Someone who is godly, somebody who has an awesome personality, all the qualities that were in Ruth, probably more, is what I saw in this person. And I was just trying to be a good Boaz. But, you can pursue somebody, but if they don't want you to pursue them, it's a different story. It's what we call free will. It's the sovereignty of God. If the sovereignty of God doesn't bring us together, then it's not meant to be. Meaning, if you knock on the door, but the door's not opening, it's time to move on. Point number 2. He could be your Boaz if he takes advantage of his opportunities to pursue you. I really like Boaz because he seems like the type of guy who takes charge of the situation and does the right thing when he has the opportunity. When he first sees Ruth working in the fields, he doesn't pray for 3 months about whether or not he should help her. He doesn't overthink the opportunity. He has the right. He has it right in front of him. He has it right in front of him. From everything we are told, it doesn't seem like his motive was marriage when he first helped Ruth. He was just being a godly man to a sister in need. Notice the chain of events we see in Ruth, chapter 2, verses 3 through 9. It states, "So she sets out and went to glean in the field. After the reapers, she sets out to glean in the field after the reapers. And she happened to come to the part of the field belonging to Boaz. who was the clan leader of the field. I'm just going to say that. And behold, Boaz came from Bethlehem and said to the reapers, "The Lord be with you." And they answered, "The Lord bless you." Then Boaz said to the young men, who was in charge of the reapers, whose young woman is this?" Then Boaz said to Ruth, "Now listen, my young daughter, do not go to glean in another field, or leave this one, but keep close to my young women. Let your eyes be on the field that they are reaping, and go after them. Have I not charged the young men not to touch you? And when they are thirsty, go to the vessels and drink what the young men have drawn." What Boaz is doing here, he's not only treating Ruth with respect, he's giving her the ability to be in a safe area, a safe location, away from perverts who would do her any harm or disrespect her or hurt her. And she's putting her in a situation where she's safe and feels safe, but also giving her free food of the crop she reaps and free water. And he's going above and beyond to make her feel comfortable. And that's things we got to do as men, is do what we can to make the girl feel comfortable. At least that's what I see. And yes, Boaz actually did do that. Later in the book of Ruth, you actually see he actually did those things. I love the phrase, "and she happened to come to the part of the field belonging to Boaz." Did this really happen? Did this really happen? Of course not. We know that in God's sovereignty, He arranges for the whole thing to happen. When a real letter in Ruth, when we read letters in Ruth 4 through chapter 4, verses 21 to 22, we see that Ruth and Boaz were actually great grandparents of King David, whose lineage God used to bring Jesus into the world. So we know that the first letter, meaning Boaz and Ruth, was anything but an accident. Meaning God used Boaz and God used Ruth to bring them together through His sovereignty, to bring King David, then to bring Jesus. They're a chain of events to happen. And one more thing before I continue. Forgive me about my throat. I have a sore throat today, but I still wanted to make this video. So I don't think it was an accident either. It was intentional. But nonetheless, God can't force something to happen if the person isn't willing to do so. Both Boaz and Ruth wanted to be married. And the end of the story. Boaz took ample opportunities to make her feel respectful, treated her better than she deserved, and took the opportunities to be with her. And Ruth also took the opportunities to open up to Boaz, and so on and so on. I'll make a video about that after this one. But no, it wasn't an accident. But nevertheless, we see that Boaz did not waste this opportunity God gave him. He saw Ruth in the field and took upon himself to figure out who she was, and then went up to her first to talk with her. Likewise, when God brings Boaz into your life, he would take advantage of the opportunity he has with you. He will positively let every moment. Likewise, when God brings your Boaz into your life, he will take advantage of every opportunity he has with you. If he lets every moment pass by when he could have pursued you, this is a sign that this is not the man for you that God has for you. Sorry, I'm kind of like going back and forth. Basically, if the man is not pursuing you, and he's not a godly man, he's not treating you better than what you deserve, this is not the man God has for you. Of course, there's more to it, there's more layers to it, but that's pretty much the gist to it. Not every godly man you meet will be your Boaz, but if a man is not prepared to honor the Lord by obeying his commandments, this is a sign that this is not your Boaz. Notice that throughout the story, Boaz is careful to pursue Ruth in the right way. The process matters greatly to God. When Boaz and Ruth decide that they want to take their relationship to the next level together, Boaz is careful to honor the Lord in the process. In Ruth chapter 3, verses 12 through 13, Boaz states in Ruth, "And now it is true that I am the Redeemer, yet there is a Redeemer nearer than I. Remain tonight and in the morning. If he will not redeem you, good, let him do it. But if he does not redeem you, then as the Lord lives, I will redeem you. Lie down and until the morning." Boaz could have gotten all the excitement and let his passions for Ruth overtake him. He could have ignored God's law at that time and decide, as long as he loves Ruth, that's all that really matters. I'm going to finish the narration. Boaz could have taken advantage of Ruth. Boaz could have had sex with Ruth. Boaz could have done many things, but no, he didn't. He respected God and God's commandments and said to Ruth, "If your Redeemer does not redeem you tonight, lay down, and in the morning, I will redeem you." They got married, they settled down, and they had kids. But through it all, Boaz respected Ruth. And this is the kind of man us as Christians should be trying to be, and these are the kind of qualities Christian women should be looking at. I do highly recommend reading the book of Ruth and the book of Song of Solomon and 1 Corinthians for reference points. Sadly, many men try to use their love for a woman these days to pursue her into having a permanent relationship or to have premarital sex. Many men want the perks of marriage without the commitment of marriage. But notice that the care Boaz took to make sure his pursuit, when it came to Ruth, he did it God's way. Ruth in chapter 4 verses 13 states, "So Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife. And she went in, he went in to her." I'm going to repeat that. So again, Ruth chapter 4 states, "So Boaz took Ruth. She became his wife. he went into her, meaning they had sex. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but it is what it is. And then the Lord gave her conception, and she bore a son. Boaz respected God's order of things. He married Ruth first, and before acting like they were married, he respected the process. He wanted to be with her, but more than that, he wanted to honor the Lord. I'm going to stop there. And my final touch. If a man is willing to honor the Lord, if he's telling you he loves you, if he's treating you better than what you deserve, better than any other person ever treated you, if he's willing to pursue you and you are allowing that man to pursue you, if his intentions are good and they follow the conduct of the Bible and they follow the doctrine of the Bible, you got your Boaz. There's nothing else to say. Now, the question is, will you allow him to pursue you? That's a question we must ask. My name is Russell. I know this wasn't the best video, but I tried my best. I hope you guys like it. My name is Russell, and you're watching The Bible Man.